So real excited for today's video. You're in for a special treat. We are actually going to break down a real live seller call from one of our next level wholesaling student clients. And Alfredo graciously and bravely sent in one of his live seller calls. And so we're going to listen to it, break it down, dissect it, and coach him up so we can close more deals, bigger deals, and hopefully you'll get the same exact benefit too. By the way, the techniques that we use in this video are right out of our No Limits selling system. So this is right out of our system. So take a listen and let's coach them up. Thanks, Alfredo.
Hello. Hey, is this Ian? Hi. Yes. Hey, this is Alfredo. I believe you spoke with Gina earlier about your home. Oh yeah. Hey, give me a second. Let me move to the place. I can talk. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Yep. Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Hey, yes. Sorry, I'm in the office. I just wanted to. Oh, okay. Got it. Would you like me to call you back later tonight, maybe? No, this is fine. Okay. Yeah, no. So Gina passed along.
All right, so I want to talk about the intro to this call a little bit. So Alfredo, you jumped in and you said, would you like me to call you back a little bit later today? And I like the intent, at least if I think you intended to do a little bit of a pull away, something that we call one of our 5 communication techniques called the stealth mismatch. Okay, now a stealth mismatch is what we do is we mismatch the seller, right? We do the opposite of what we think the seller will do, okay, so that they come towards us. When you run towards a dog, it runs, right? When you run away from a dog, it's going to chase you. The challenge here is when you said, I want to call you back later, it can elicit a yes or a no answer. And so we want to eliminate yes or no answers as often as possible. We want people talking. So for example, instead of saying, hey, would you like me to call you back later? We use something exactly in our script that says, sounds like I caught you in the middle of something. Right now, I know it's kind of a question, but you'll notice my tonality in which now the seller feels like I'm pulling away. All right. But on the other hand, they're kind of forced to give an answer in which they're telling me that they're not busy. I know this is a small, subtle difference here, but I've tried hundreds of variations of this, and this is by far the best response when you first get on the phone. Don't change it. Try this. Sounds like I caught you in the middle of something, right? Bring down your tone a little bit, sound confused, almost say it like you're walking away, so now the seller will chase you. All right, let's move on.
Some information about the house. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to follow up. She didn't mention the age of the roof, furnace, or water heater, and maybe it's because you didn't know it. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit more information. Yeah, so I don't know, right? So the house is under property management since like 1993, a long time. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, and I'll have to go back to my record to see, if and when those are changed. I don't know. I'll find out maybe by end of tonight or maybe tomorrow. Okay, and honestly, it's not a big deal. We just always like to get a ballpark, but it sounds like it hasn't been replaced in the last 5 years then. And,
all right, so let's take a look. Let's break this down over here. So initially, we just went into the roof and the water heater, right? And you mentioned it sounds like it has not been replaced in the last 5 or 10 years. Now, remember, when we chase a dog, this is an example where we could use the stealth mismatch. Is you said it sounds like it hasn't been replaced in the last 5 or 10 years. The seller at this point may get defensive, right? And they may hide this information. They say, hey, you know what? I don't know, or I don't think it's that old, right? But you are trying to elicit, you're trying to impose, right, the fact that it's not a new water heater. Okay, so what I would have done at this point is, hey, it sounds like you replaced that water heater maybe in the last couple of years, right? Go the opposite. Because when you say that, they're going to say, oh, no, 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 no. I mean, I don't remember the last time the water heater was replaced, right? It's been a very, very long time. Now, granted, this particular statement on this may not make or break this call, right? But it's a combination of little things that enable us to gather more information to prepare us to lock up this contract. It also prepares the seller mentally and price conditions them and softens them up. So when it's ready to sign the contract, all these little things that we've done, right, will now soften them to give them the price that we need to be able to make the maximum profit possible. Very, very, very important. So instead of saying, hey, it sounds like, you haven't replaced it in the last 5 years, I would say, hey, it sounds like, so you've replaced this maybe last 2 or 3 years, right? He's going to say, no, we haven't done that, right? Small, subtle difference, big, big, big changes.
No, I have to check. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, and the reason I'm asking is because that area specifically, around that area, I'm not sure if it hit the house, but it's had quite a few hailstorms, as I'm sure you're aware. So, oh, really? Yeah, you didn't hear about the one last year? No. Oh, yeah, it was nuts. I was actually in the neighborhood, and my car got destroyed. It was crazy. No way. Yeah. But, okay. No, that's fine. We just kind of like to get a ballpark. I mean, so, as far as price is concerned, Gina mentioned that, you threw out 180. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, do you have any wiggle room in that number? Just because I don't think realistically we'll be able to make it work. What number are you looking for? Well, so this house does have, you said it tested positive for meth, right? Yeah, I actually got off the phone with the abatement company today, and we may be able to do something about it, but yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, if we can come in somewhere in the 125 to 130 ballpark, would that even work for you? That sounds a little low. Yeah. No, I hear you. It's really low. Yeah. I don't think we'd go anywhere lower than 150. 150. Okay. But is that taking into account maybe the roof mate, the roof on the furnace? With the information that we have, so I am making assumptions here that the roof needs to be repaired or replaced, and we can always drive by the property to try to get a better idea. But yeah, that's just the ballpark. Okay. Yeah, if you feel free to drive by.
All right, so this is where you got really, really caught, Alfredo. By the way, thank you so much for sending this in. You're a great sport. I think you're doing a great job. Just a small little changes here, okay, where we're going to really, really see a lot of improvements. So one area that you mentioned, you said, hey, I want to ask about the roof and the furnace. It's not a big deal, right? But I just want to ask this, right? And then what happened was you said, hey, I'm assuming that the roof needs to be replaced and the furnace needs to be replaced. So what you're doing now is you're giving the seller room. You're giving him permission to extend the timeline, right? To push this out. And I can tell you that time is the killer of deals. There's a reason why the seller is in this position. There's a reason why it's test positive for meth, and it's all about procrastination. Sellers love to procrastinate. That's why they're in the situation that they're in. So what we've done here is you now have given permission here to extend the timeline because now you say that you are making assumptions about the property. So let's see what happens here. But now we've kind of put ourselves in this pigeonhole. I'm not saying you're going to kill the deal, right? But at the very least, now we've extended our timeline and given him permission to say, hey, maybe come see it before you make an offer, right? So let's hear what he says, and we'll do some coaching after that.
Okay. The other option, I was thinking about, getting the work done and doing all the upgrades myself. Sure. And not selling. But if I can get another deal, okay. Yeah, I mean, feel free to drive by and let me know what you think, and I can get answers for you too.
There he is. All right. So now he pushed it to the dreaded drive-by, right? And so the small little subtle differences that we said in the beginning of the conversation now threw him to say, hey, you said you needed to know the condition of the roof and the water heater, right? Now drive by, right? Ouch. This is a revenue killer, right? It's going to push the deal into the next month and the next month and in the next month. Okay. So be very, very careful on making, commitments or making statements that's going to trap you later down the conversation.
I was just trying to see what will make the best sense for me. And no, that makes sense. And Gina mentioned there's basically other decision makers involved other than you. So the house is in a trust. Okay. It's my dad's trust, but I'm a co-trustee on there. He's out of the country, so I pretty much handle everything while I'm here. Okay. So it's just him and myself, and I have full ability, so it's not going to be an issue. Yeah. Okay, because I did look up the title, and I think it mentioned or yeah, that needs to be updated. It wouldn't be an issue. It was my mom, and she passed away a couple years ago, and we decided to make the title right here. It just needs to be. It wasn't transferred properly. It's done by tomorrow. I'm working on it. Oh, and actually, so if we do end up doing business, we go through a title company. They handle all of that. So for the most part, whenever I've done deals like this, all they pretty much need is a death certificate. Or a copy of it, so that shouldn't be a problem then. Okay, and I mean, if we can end up, I'm just trying to see if we can come up with more options here. If we can pay a little bit more, are you guys amenable to basically taking payments over time, or do you guys just want like a cash out offer? So I wanted to do a 1031. Okay. So yeah, preferably a cash out. That's why. That was one of the options. We would do a 1031, find a buyer somehow, or do the work. Okay. So, yep. Got it. No, that makes sense. So if I drive by the property today, actually before I get to that, is there any way we can get into the property at all? Yeah. I mean, there's a lockbox on the outside, and I'd be happy to give it to you. I'll share it. Okay. So I won't. So if I go to the property today, and I'm obviously gonna do a walkthrough of it, check everything out, do my numbers. If we can agree on the price, if it isn't as bad as we think it is, and we can agree on 150, I guess when would you be able to sign or willing to move forward here? So, I mean, if you give me a good, let's, if we can come to an agreement, I mean, probably as soon as possible to measure, I have to make an educated decision too. But if we can come to an agreement, I mean, as soon as possible. Yeah, like, I'm doing testing tomorrow on the house. I get that full report. And I have abatement contractors coming in also this week because they're going to give me a good number. And during the abatement, that's when I would do a complete rehab also because the house is free and clear. And if I put 50 grand into it, it wouldn't be a problem with the rent. And that's why I'm considering my options. But if we were to come to a full deal, I mean, hey, as soon as possible, it really isn't an issue. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Before we pull the trigger on anything, it sounds like you kind of want to wait for all these tests to be done first. Yeah. I mean, I have a guy coming in tomorrow, and I'll probably have results within a week. So, I mean, within the next month and a half, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get a timeline here. Usually, we want to, we like to move on these, ASAP. We could usually close within like 7 to 14 days, but yeah, I mean, if you want some time to kind of think about it and analyze the results and all that.
Okay, so let me stop here for a second, right? So, and Alfredo, thanks for being a great sport again. One thing that's a challenge here is now twice now you have told the seller what you want, right? You like to move in 7 days. You like to move fast, right? What you want, what you want, what you want. Generally, you're doing much more talking than the seller. And it's important that when we're trying to persuade someone, we're trying to get the seller to say what they want. And so, one of the things that we have not done well here in this conversation is we have not gotten the seller's want and needs and desires and pain. And so, she had mentioned, well, I've got to make an educated guess. So what I would have done is said, okay, well, let me ask you a question. What do you mean by educated? Right? Like what would make you feel educated? Right? Is it the repairs? Is it the real estate agent? Is it what this property will sell for on the open market? Is it what this property will sell for to competing investors? Right? So you don't want to be scared of the investors, right? Are you competing against the rehab cost and him, selling this and the hassle of that, or are you competing against another investor, or are you competing against a real estate agent? And so we don't know that. When we talk and we talk about what we want, we don't hear that answer. Very, 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 very important. All right. So what I would do here is I'm going to listen here to the last couple minutes of this call. But what you want to do here is really find out why he wants to educate himself, right? And then how he's going to make that decision. What is the criteria for making a decision, right? What is going to push him over the edge to make a decision one way or the other? And you want him to define that for himself, right? So he may not even know that. So he might need a little bit of coaching and saying, okay, is there a number that might be too much rehab that's going to sell you as is, right? Is there a number that says, hey, you know what? I'd like to keep this and fix it up and sell it for top dollar in 1031 exchange, right? But ask him questions and then zip your lips. All right. Great job so far. Again, small changes, big results.
That's completely up to you. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. Sure. Feel free to drive by the house. I have no problem. It's vacant, so feel free to walk in. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. If we're in the neighborhood, we'll definitely pop in. Because we've got so much inventory, we usually like to make sure we're at least in the ballpark before we actually do a full walkthrough of the house. So I guess I guess we'll wait for the inspections and everything to come.
So here's one thing, and again, I know you kind of, you did this unintentionally, right? So sometimes when before earlier in the conversation, you indicated that their house is in lockbox or that you wanted to get inside, right? And then now towards the end of the conversation here, right? I know you didn't do this intentionally, right? But now you're saying that you're not going to go to the property. And so, with this seller, it may not be any big deal. But with certain sellers, they may say, you know what, you went back on your word, or you changed course, or you don't do what you said you're going to do. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but again, you don't know who you're talking to, right? So it's very, very important that you say as little as possible and ask as many questions and make as few commitments as possible and get the seller to make commitments. When we make commitments, even the little tiny ones, we want to keep them. Right. So, I know we kind of trapped ourselves here, but it's great learning lesson. Again, awesome job for doing this. I think this is a pretty good call. So let's finish it up and let's see how it ends. And then I'll give you some parting words.
Back. And maybe I can call you back in about a week or so. Yeah, that works. Works for me. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. And if anything changes before then, feel free to give us a call at this number, and we'll be happy to work with you. All right, cool. Thanks. This is Alfredo. Awesome, man. Good. Yep, Alfredo, like the pasta sauce. Okay. All right. Last name, Alfredo. Are you guys from the Bay Area? I think Gino's saying you guys are from here. So Gina's from the Bay Area. I'm not. I'm not from the Bay Area. Oh, okay. Is that where you're at? Okay. Yeah, I'm in I'm in the Bay Area, so just wondering. Oh, sweet, sweet. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I hear property out there is nuts.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I hear.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well,
All right, so here's just some parting words. One of the things that we like to do is really compress timelines. And the way that we want to end this call, again, just small, subtle differences, is make an appointment to speak again. So you said you want to call in a week. What I would have done is I would say, okay, listen, your abatement test is what day? Great. What day do you expect the results back? 3 days from now. Great. How many days do you need to look it over? 3 more days. Okay. So that being said, why don't we speak 1 week from now? I've got an opening on my calendar for next Wednesday at 10:30. I'm going to make an appointment for us to speak. Does that work? Wednesday at 10:30? Yes. Okay, great. So what do you need to do? What do you need to actually discover, decide whether to move forward with us or to go in a different direction? Right? Like, let's define that. And by the way, it's okay at any point if you want to go in another direction and tell me no. Absolutely, that's okay. I just like to determine whether we're a good fit or not and just be completely transparent, right? That's the way that you compress timelines. So make an appointment, have him define that, and have him say, look, if it's more than $50,000 in repairs, I don't want to deal with it. I'll sell it to you, right? If it's only $25,000, I'd like to keep it, right? And fix it up and list with a real estate agent, right? If the repairs are 30 and I have to find a replacement property from my 1031 exchange, then I will keep it and not do business with you. But whatever it is, have him state that number in his mind so he's looking for it, right? And so that way when you get on the phone 1 week from now, Wednesday at 10:30, and you guys have an appointment, right, you can compress that timeline and him to say, yes, let's do it, or no, we're not going to do it, right? Sales is part of the art of persuasion, but it's also the part of disqualifying prospects, right? If we're spending time with the right people and pushing them forward, and then we're removing ourselves with people who are wasting our time and helping them define that, that's when the big money comes. So Alfredo, awesome job. I thought this is a good call overall, just a few tweaks, and you're going to start to see a really, really, really big difference. Now, if you are listening to this, remember all of these techniques are from the No Limit Selling System. There should be a link right below this video if you want to purchase that and know more on how to close bigger deals, more deals on less of a marketing budget. You want to shorten your timeline. You want to have more fun. You want to make more money and create more freedom. Go ahead and click the link below and purchase this system. All right. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.